So as you can see, we have a new ban list. I actually did a video just not very long ago to predict the cards that are in the ban list. So if you haven't watched that yet, go and have a look at that. I made some predictions and wishes on what cards that I want to be seen in the Forbidden and Limited list. And also I read through some of your comments of what cards that you guys want to see in the list. And less than a day later, we got the list. So let's see how right we are. We actually don't have a skill limit. We only got a card limit. But I am expecting to see a skill changing list in the future. I hope there is, because for some decks like Elemental Hero, the problem is the skills and not the cards. So I do expect those decks to receive a nerf from the skill. So let's go. We're going into this blind. I have absolutely no idea what cards are in the ban list, so let's begin. Oh. Okay, first of all, Nightmare Mermaid to 1 is... I think it should be at 1 from the very beginning, but for some reason it is at 2 when it is released, so it being at 1 is fine. It's probably expected, and it probably should be that way from the very beginning. Croco Dragon to 1. Yep, that is fine. Croc is a bit too good in Synchron decks, unless you draw way too many cards, and limiting some other Synchron cards to 1 will also help the deck from playing this card that much. And even if there aren't any other limit 1 cards in the Synchron deck, Rota is at 1, so at least they can't play Rota. Ooh, Tatsunoko is at 1, so it stops the 1-card Jet Synchron combo. In case you don't know, Synchron decks can make Croc with 2 draws using a single Jet Synchron, and that is a bit too good. And limiting both Tatsunoko to 1 and the Croc to 1 will prevent that combo, because you need both cards to actually do your combo. So, and also, yeah, Mermaid to 1 is probably good if they are going to release the other Orcus cards. Maybe they can limit Orcus Nightmare to 1 when it is released, so they can't just splash Mermaid in any deck and get Nightmare, Orcus Nightmare directly from your deck. Maybe that's just a speculation, but let's see. Cynet Crosswipe. I think Cynet Crosswipe is fine. I don't think this card needs a nerf. I actually don't think any of the Cyber's cards need a nerf. I think the only thing that needs a nerf is the skill. The Code Talker Alive skill is a bit too good. It can activate in during any turn, even in your first turn, and also you can activate the trap the turn it's set, which is a bit too good. I feel like the problem is the skill and not the Cynet cards or the Cyber's monsters. But Cynet Crosswipe will probably make Salad players stop playing Salads. Transmodify. Okay, so that's a precautionary measure. What are they preventing with this? I actually have no idea. I mean, it could be a good card to limit in Infernity decks, but no one plays Infinities anymore after a launcher was at 1, so I'm not really sure why they limited Transmodify, but we will see. It's probably a bit harsh of a nerf. Usually when they limit cards precautionary, usually it is a bit harsh, which I do understand. They don't want a deck to be busted right out of the gate, but we'll see if this limit is enough or too harsh. Okay, that's the end of the limit 1 list. Limit 2 list. Scrap Iron Scarrow. That's fine, no one uses this card anyway. It's fine at 2. It loses to a single back row removal. Any form of back row removal will get rid of it. including just MST, Cosmic, Nightmare Phoenix, which any deck can run, Nightmare Unicorn. Yeah, super easy card to out. Fine at 2. It could be fine unlimited. Void Feast 2, yes, I predicted this. I actually predicted this to be at 1, but 2 is also fine. I predicted Void Feast to be at 1 or 2, and I'm glad to see it being limited. Infernoids are just way too frustrating if they just open with Feast turn 1. Okay, that's the end of the Limit 2 list. Purple Knight 43, yes! This is what I have been hoping for. I also predicted this in the last video. Purple Knight 43 is absolutely correct. A correct limit. Let's see. Jet Synchron to 3. Yes, this is a good idea because currently Synchron decks are able to use Mind Control, take your opponent's monster, and then just use that opponent's monster to activate your skill and make a synchro, make 2 big synchro monsters. So at least if Jet Synchron is at 3, those decks can't play Mind Control, which is really the Mind Control is really unfair when you can use it with your skill to just send whatever you take to the graveyard. So yeah, Jet Synchron to 3 is a pretty good hit. 7 Kepler to 3, yes. DDs are actually not very good right now, so this card at 3 is pretty good. And also, remove Dark Contract with the gate from the list. Yes, DD is I think DD is okay right now. They're like barely meta, but 7 to 3 and Gate Unlimited will help the deck. Even if both Slime and 7 is at 3, that means you can at least still play 3 gates, and that really helps a lot with the deck. Corruptor Ibli. That's pretty good as well. At least that makes Mekk Knight decks not be able to play Ibli, which is a very frustrating card, even though it's pretty easy to out, in my opinion. But for Mekk Knight decks, it's not just about having an out to Ibli or not. It also gives your opponent a free monster, which is another card in the column, which you can use Blue Sky to search an additional card. Even if they don't have any monsters or spell traps in that column, you can just give them Ibli, which counts as a card your opponent controls. So yeah, Ibli itself is not very good, so that's why I see it a very good choice for it to be limited at 3. So it only hinders decks like Mekk Knights that are trying to also make use of the fact that it counts as a card that your opponent controls. So yeah, that's a pretty good hit. Lady Debug. Ooh, that's actually really good. I like this hit because, let me explain why. Lady Debug to 2 is very bad for pure Cyber decks because pure Cyber decks rely on cards like Cyanide Mining and Lady Debug to search their combo pieces. But Salad decks already have plenty of consistency tools like Circle and just Gazelle. So limiting Debug to 3 is actually a really good choice to both hinder Salamangreat decks specifically, but also increase the power level of pure Cyber decks, which I think is really good. It also helps prevent Mekk Knight players from using Debug as a combo starter, because technically it is a 1-card code talker, and if you search Microcoder with Debug, you also get a free crosswipe. But crosswipe is at 1 and Lady Debug is at 3, so that makes sure that Mekk Knight players can't abuse this card as well. It's a pretty good hit. Tuning to 3. Oh no, wait. Both Jet and Tuning to 3. That's a... Oh wow. I don't know about this one. I think only Jet to 3 is enough. I think both Jet and Tuning to 3 is a bit much. I think the deck is still pretty new as of this day, so I'm fine for it not to be hit that much, but both Jet and Tuning to 3 is a pretty significant hit. It changes their consistency from 6 to 3, but I guess that doesn't really matter that much, considering that they can't do the one card jet synchro combo anymore, since the Croc and the Tatsunoko is both limited to 1. So it's not like having extra copies of jet synchron can help them do that combo anyway. I think it will be our job to think of other combos that Synchrons can do, which, to be fair, they can do a lot of crazy combos, but at least it will probably be less good than a single Jet Synchron making a Croc that draws you 2 cards. That's just a bit too good, personally. Tuning was hit for Overtake cells, Overtake was better anyway. That's kind of true, actually. You can search Jet Synchron with Overtake, but that also forces you to play a Jet Warrior in your extra deck, and that means that basically soft nerfs your deck to only 7 extra deck slots instead of 8, which I think is fine. And also the extra mill from shooting might very occasionally be useful, but that's just a very niche applications. Okay, no longer on the list. Balanix to Unlimited, that is pretty good. Balanix, I think Silence already got hit way too much, I think. Balanix to Unlimited is fine, because they have so many other cards that are limited. Karakuri Unlimited? Okay, discard Unlimited doesn't really do a lot to help the deck. What we need to see is level 2 monster, the Merchant Unlimited. If that card is unlimited, the deck will be good. Will be at least playable. And we're not getting it, okay. That's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, Dark Contract with the Gate, we saw that from the Kepler Limit Free. Blackbird Close, yeah, that's expected, because they did recently unlimit the other Blackwing cards as well. Blackbird, Blackwings might possibly be a solid competitive deck choice now, since you can just activate Close from your hand, and your opponent can't just MST it before they do the combo to stop it. They will have to have Book of Moon to remove your Synchro monsters, which is still an out, which makes it a bit less good than it was before, because back when Blackwings were meta, Book of Moon didn't exist, so you can't just book your opponent's monster to stop your opponent from activating Blackbird Close from their hand, but at least now it is possible to stop that, and it at 3 is okay. Enshi to 3, yeah, they did unlimit 6 SAM cards in the previous ban list as well. Vion to 3? Yeah, that's probably fine. I mean, the best hero builds don't even play Vion in the meta right now. Yeah, no one really plays the Vision Hero version using like Faris and Vion. Yeah, no one really plays that version as of now. People usually just use the broken skills that heroes get instead of, you know, using Faris. But Vion Unlimited for now is probably fine. Machine Angel Ritual to Unlimited is probably fine. I mean, that is pretty good news for Witchcrafter, because the deck now has access to Machine Angel Ritual, and it previously doesn't, because both Holiday and Ritual is at 2. But now Witchcrafters have access to a Destruction Protection. And that's it. Okay. Yeah, so what do I think about this ban list? First of all, I think it is really good. I think there aren't a particular card that I'm really disappointed to see on the list. And as far as I'm concerned, a lot of the meta decks are hit from the list. The only thing that I'm not so sure is Transmodify, but we'll probably see why this card is hit in the upcoming box. But for now, we don't really know why it's at 1. It's probably because of the new box stat. might be coming. Now, Void Feast as 2 is really good. Void Feast at 1 or 2 is also a good choice, and a 2 is just a harsher option than 1. But, yep, I could see them doing that. Yeah, Nightfall to 3 is also what we expected. And also, Synchron's getting a hit is also really good. It might be a tiny bit too much, because they also hit tuning, but I guess you can replace this with Synchro Overtake. DD being slightly unlimited is good, because the deck isn't really that good in the meta right now, so seeing it back is probably a good thing. Italy Limit is good because the card itself isn't really good, but it is good in Mekk Knight, so it being limited to 3 is good. And the small pure cyber stack buff and the hero, cyber angel, witchcrafter, and blackwing buffs are all pretty nice. Oh yeah, I should also mention that there are no Phantom Knight hits at all, which is, I think, okay as long as they nerf the skill a tiny bit. But even if they don't nerf the skill, I think the deck is... It is good, but it is far from top tier. It is very beatable, and even if there are absolutely 0 Phantom Knight hits, I think it's not too big of a problem. And also, I don't think hitting the Phantom Knight cards will actually do a lot, as long as the skill is still there, because the consistency the skill gives is honestly the main issue of why the deck is good, or even like borderline too broken or too consistent. So, and also elemental heroes, like the Hero Alliance version, again, these have to be nerfed in the skill update, which will hopefully be coming soon.